Hello, it's Mr. Schneider. Let's do our Unit 6 test review podcast. All right, some words you had to define there: scarcity, resources, choice, opportunity cost, price, incentive, supply and demand, production, and consumption. We'll just do them in order that I have them listed there. Scarcity, of course, is that there's a limited number of supplies. Remember, we talked about McDonald's hamburgers. There's a limited number of McDonald's hamburgers. I know it seems like there's an infinite supply, but if every person in the world wanted a McDonald's hamburger at the same time, not everybody would have one. Resources. Make sure you know the 4 types of resources: capital, natural, human, and entrepreneurship. Don't forget about intermediate resources, those things that we use once, like nails. Like I talked about building my children the treehouse and using nails in them. Let's briefly talk about each type of resource. Human resources, of course, people that work. Capital resources are resources you use over and over again. Like I use my computer as a resource, I use it over and over again. Entrepreneurship, these are people that take risks, start companies. Don't confuse it with inventors. Like I talked about, H.J. Heinz is an entrepreneur. He didn't invent ketchup, but when you buy ketchup, you better buy Heinz, right? And then human resources, people that work, are resources. Choice, when you're buying a product, you have to make a choice. The example we used was Coke or Pepsi. Whichever one you pick, that's the choice you made. Opportunity cost is the highest price alternative you give up. So let's say you were deciding between Coke, Pepsi, and Sprite, and your final decision came between Coke and Pepsi. If I chose Coke, then Pepsi would be my opportunity cost because it's the highest valued alternative that I gave up. Price is where supply and demand meet. It's the amount of money you pay for a product. Incentives are things like rebates, buy one, get one free. Companies are trying to get you to buy their goods, so they give you like coupons, breaks on them, stuff like that. Supply and demand. Supply is the amount of goods that producers will make, and demand is how much people want to buy. Remember we talked about supply and demand at Christmas time with toys or gaming systems, and the people waiting outside the store, and there's 4 Xboxes left, and there's hundreds of people waiting in line, so the supply is really low, the demand's really high. What's going to happen to the price? Supply low, demand high, price goes up. Supply high, demand low, price goes down. Production is combining resources to make goods, and then consumption is using goods. Remember, it's not buying goods, it's using goods. You probably didn't buy your shoes, your parents probably bought them for you, but you're the one using them. Okay, the basic economic questions all societies must answer: what to produce, who will produce, and for whom will it be produced. Okay? And then we have the 4 different types of economic systems: traditional, free market, command, and mixed economy. Remember, traditional is where things like subsistence farming, basket making, blacksmithing, it's passed down from generation to generation. And you usually make things that only for your family to survive. Free market, no government involvement. Consumer sovereignty, remember the consumer is godlike. Consumer determines which businesses will survive and not survive. Competition, remember, why is competition good? Lower prices, better quality, more choice. These are different parts of the free market economy. Command economy, remember I told you the answer, usually going to be government. The government controls the economy, the government determines everything, what's produced. The government determines what sort of job you're going to do. You have no consumer choice in a command economy. A mixed economy is where you take part of the free market and some of the command. Like we have a free market economy. We have a mixed economy. Some would argue that it's more towards the free market, which it is. While our government has some say in our economy, it doesn't determine like what's going to be made by companies and such. And then you have to take each of those. Remember we did that chart in your notebook, how each type of economy answers the 3 basic questions. What to produce. In a free market, it's what the consumer wants. In a traditional, you produce what your family's always produced. And in a command economy, the government decides what's going to be produced. They don't care what your preference. There's no consumer preference. Who will produce it? Free market, citizens produce things. Traditional, you produce it for your family. Command, the government produces it. For whom will it be produced? Traditional, again, you're providing it for your family. In a free market, I'm making things for consumers. Command economy, the government really doesn't care. They're just producing it. They're not giving you any choice. You want, this is the television we're making, this is what you have to buy. They're not really taking into account for whom it's being produced. All right, that's a short overview of the economics test. If you have questions, please ask. I say test, really quiz. Don't forget, I'm going to check your economic project also on Thursday. Except for period 7, you have until Monday to do it. Okay? Hope this helps, guys. Have a great day.